Yo, man. Peace and blessings to the tribe. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. Remember, they said it, now we speaking on it. I am Mr. Telescope. You are now watching Telescope channel. So, getting straight into this premium news. Not black news today, I think this is for everybody. But getting straight into this premium news, I happened to run across something on YouTube, which I found very intriguing. The person is very, very interesting and mysterious and also intriguing. It's a dude named Jordan Maxwell, which I believe that was his pit name for him. I believe his real name is like Russell something. Got to look more into that. But he was just talking a lot about how American people are slaves, America is a corporation, and such and so on, whatever. Therefore, but I've heard these talking points before in bits and pieces and increments, never in such a load that he gave, pause, but never in like such a overwhelming load of information as he gave. But I've heard it like little bits and pieces here and there, like, if your name is in all capital letters, that means that, that's the corporation you. That's not, it's two U's. That's the corporation you. That's not the little you. You know what I'm saying? So if your name is in all caps, your first and last name is in all caps, that's the corporation you. Your birth certificate is getting sold and so on and so forth. But I heard these talking points more so from people that were able to be easily debunked, discreditable people. You know what I'm saying? And some were kind of somewhat credible, but they never followed up on the information. And then when they tried to apply it, it just wasn't. It was used for the wrong things. They were trying to use it for sovereignty and all type of stuff. So, and as you know, like, the courts don't really respect sovereignty because a lot of their views and what they feel like their abilities or their special requirements should be and are normally like some crazy stuff, like outlandish stuff. Like, pretty much like they want to like get away with crime and things of that sort. And we all, as American citizens, are subjected to the same law, whether you want to view it or not like that, whether it may be race, color, ethnicity, whatever. We all are subjected to the same law. It is some certain stipulations where I do kind of see like race takes play in certain things, but for the most part, majority, we all are subjected under the same law. So a lot of the sovereign takes and views don't really add up to the American law. So that's why a lot of the things that when people are sovereign, they try to apply these type of methods and these type of ideologies and theologies, and it doesn't work out for them. But nevertheless, this dude is pretty interesting. I'm actually gonna be putting up some more clips of what he's saying. I would put it up in increments, but I want y'all to hear it in its entirety because a lot of the stuff that he's saying, you got to hear it from beginning to end. It's deep, and I want y'all to be able to keep up. I don't want to just give y'all a bit of information. That's what they do in the church house. You know what I'm saying? They read one scripture, or really just all religion. They take one piece of scripture, and then they play off of that one piece of scripture for 3 hours long for the whole service. You know what I'm saying? They don't read the full scripture in its entirety. So I want to play this video in its entirety. I'm not going to try to be no pulpit teacher and all that other shit. I'm play the video in its entirety. I hope y'all guys enjoy it. But a lot of the stuff that he was saying, it just really, raised a lot of red flags for me. It really stood out to me, and it had me thinking a lot too. It's like, even with this whole immigrant, situation going on and all of the protesting that's going on and stuff like that, it really made me see and open my eyes to a different perspective. And y'all know that's what I like to do on the Telescope channel. Like, I get everybody talking about, black and white, black and brown, coalition and delineating and all that stuff. But I mean, I'm all for that too, because it is a place for that. But I like to just have my own take on things and dive a little bit deeper. Now, and some of the things that this brother was saying really made sense why the undocumented immigrants are now being so forcefully put out and pushed out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm staying out of it for real, but I just wanted to put my take on this because I feel like they're not doing it because they want to help black people, for sure. They're doing it because these people, if they're not documented, if they're undocumented and they're not documented, they can't profit off of them. they're not financial slaves. You know what I'm saying? They don't really own them. So they have to be documented in order for the U.S. to own them, in order for the U.S. to profit off of them. Remember, we in $1 trillion of debt. And from a little bit of research that I've been doing, it seems like we in debt to Switzerland as well, to like Swiss banks and other different banks that, lend us money from World War I to all of this stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? The rabbit hole is really deep, man. The rabbit hole is pretty deep. And it's a lot of stuff that, has been spoken on, like World War II, how a lot of Nazis, just started disappearing and working with the Catholic Church once they seen that they was going to lose the war. A lot of the top-ranking Nazis were disappearing, working with the Catholic Church, people in the Vatican and things of that sort. And these people paid for them to go to different countries, to go to Brazil, and some even came to the U.S. Like one of them started the CIA. So it's a lot of little deep little things that you don't really know that's right up under our noses that we don't even know. I remember, I want to say it was like 2019 or 18, I think, when they actually started finding these people that were Nazis and quote unquote persecuting them and taking them to trial for the atrocities and things that they had done did in the past. A lot of them were hiding. Some of them were popping up dead. So I find it very strange that all of this stuff actually came out way back in the 70s and the 60s. This is not no new stuff. This is stuff that's been up under the sun. So for it to be right up under our nose, just lets you know that people don't really search for the truth. People rather stay in the darkness and reside there. Because when you shine the light in their face and they see these type of things, just as this man said, when you show them the truth and you show them the light, it blinds them, it hurts them. They cover their eyes, they're ashamed. You know what I'm saying? So, no further ado, I'm gonna let y'all see some of this stuff, but I just wanted to give y'all a little buffer on it. YouTube is gonna be fair use and educational purposes. So hopefully I don't get no copyright claim or no strikes or nothing like that. But I do want to show this video in its entirety because I think it's very educational. We need to be putting our people up on game about stuff like this. And like I said, this seems like something that is happening because, the U.S. can't profit off of it. You know what I'm saying? And from what I'm hearing and from what I'm researching and learning, our birth certificates are actually pretty much a stamp of saying like, okay, this person is going to be put up for credit. This is collateral, pretty much. Everybody in their birth certificate is put up for collateral. He going to break it down a little bit more for y'all, but that's what I seen it as. So if you're undocumented immigrant, you don't have a U.S. birth certificate, so they can't put you up for collateral. This is why they need you up out of here, or they want you to do it the right way, right? So you can't be put up for collateral. A lot of things were said, like World War I was planned 40 years ahead of its time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this stuff is just about money. You know what I'm saying? SEX and power. That's ultimately what it boils down to. And people know it. That's why the world is consumed with that right now. That's all you see is like provocative stuff. Things that used to be like explicit content, and it was blanked out. It had like markers or like water markers all over it, 18 or older, or a little stop sign all over it and stuff. Like now everything is just booyah right in your face. They're coercing the kids. People that are literally attracted to kids have a lane now, which they call themselves MAPS, which I've been knew this. I knew this back in like 2020. But, it's just a lot of weird stuff that's going on. And I feel like it is a hidden agenda. It's a part of the agenda. Now, before I part out, I will say this. If all of this stuff is happening with the immigrants, and they actually do need them to be documented so that they can, pretty much be considered collateral for America's debt, then that also means that the whole, not propaganda, but the whole, pretty much the whole take on the World War I, the First World War, already being predestined and planned 40 years ahead of its time, which would also make me think that the the stuff that's going on with Israel and Iran is also planned and funny, because it makes you think, why are we aiding and abetting Israel and giving them money and helping them out? And so, like, just so many fashions. Like, even Trump just tweeted the other day. He said something about Iran, and he said, I don't know how you actually pronounce it. I think it's called Tehran, Tyra, but I think I pronounced it right the first time. But yeah, it's a major city in Iran, which he told people to evacuate, and all Iran had to do was sign a deal and say that they couldn't get any. They agreed to no nuclear war and things of that sort. So you see people evacuating the city in masses as if though he was like, sending them a cryptic message. As we can see so far, we don't really know Trump to be actually playing around and shit like that. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? He seemed like a man of his word. So you just see people in masses just taking off. But nevertheless, man, I'm gonna play this video for y'all. Y'all check it out. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Remember, man, they said it. Now we speaking on it. I am Mr. Telescope, and you are not watching Telescope Channel. Telescope.
Years of my life I have spent researching and studying the world of hidden knowledge, ancient mysteries, occult and secret societies, fraternal orders. My real first love is theology, occult theology. But let me warn you, and let me say that the word occult does not mean evil or bad. It carries that denotation, but it's not really bad. Occult simply means hidden. Anything which is hidden is occult. It's a Latin word for hidden. Consequently, so much of knowledge, important spiritual, political, sociological knowledge, it's been hidden. And so I have spent, as I said, the past 43 years of my life searching out hidden knowledge. And that's what I do. I'm fascinated by how much we don't know. The state of Israel is actually connected to America in a very arcane and secret way. So they are, the state of Israel is connected to the American federal system. It's very interesting. That's why America sends billions and billions and billions of dollars. Quite literally, I've heard the figure per year, something like $17 billion a year to the state of Israel. Incredible amounts of money. Why? There's something else going on here, and they haven't told you the whole story. If you were looking down from a satellite, looking down onto the Earth, or even higher out than a satellite would be, you would see that the largest single landmass on the Earth is from Russia, from the northeast tip of Russia, all the way across to Central West Africa, to the West African coast. Then from England, England, all the way across to India. And you crisscross the largest single landmass on the earth. That cross comes right through the city of Jerusalem. That's where it crosses. And so the old ancient Phoenician Canaanites, being the bankers, they said, if you're coming through town to do business, Jack, you're going to pay us up front. And so whoever controls Jerusalem controls the flow of oil, drugs, all kinds of products, the flow of gold, diamonds, all the valuable things in the world goes through Jerusalem. That's why it's the holy city. Money, international, monetary world situation set up so that all money, all flowing of business, commerce goes through Jerusalem. That's the name of the tomb. That's why Jerusalem is so important. to the American people. Now, you've got to give the people a reason why Israel is so important. Now, we know that Israel is very important because of strategically where it sits on the trade routes to control the flow of oil, drugs, diamonds, a lot of drugs in Israel, going through Israel. Major movements of illicit narcotics and drugs through Israel. And diamonds, gold, money, etc., etc. But you've got to give the people who are going to go over there and lose their lives and give their sons in war, you've got to give them a reason. So we tell them that it's religious. It's the Lord's chosen people, the Lord's people. And the Lord himself has chosen Israel. And we give them a line. You'd be surprised what Americans love. They love that kind of stuff. And so we tell them, it's the Lord's will. And the Lord Jesus was there, and all the great prophets and all of that. And so we have to protect that little country, Israel, because it's the Lord's will. So I believe that all of these things which are happening right now in the Middle East, there are many factors involved, obviously. It's not just oil. It's not just money. Those are the cards on the table. When you're laying out the game and you're going to play a game, a high-stakes game, say in Las Vegas, where hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars are laying on the table, and you're playing a high-stakes game, you're going to have the cards you've got that you're playing. Well, one of the cards that's being used in this high-stakes game is, of course, oil. One of them is, of course, drugs. Drugs are very big business in the Middle East and in Europe, and so I feel that the drugs are one card, oil is a second card, the control of money, banking, fraternities, controlling the flow of commerce and business in the world, that's another card on the table. But above the cards are the players only using the cards. And I think the players in this world game that's being laid out for us now are guided not by the cards. They're guided by something else. There's something else going on here. And it has to do with secret societies and ancient religions. People have been living from day to day, never realizing the profound impact secrets have on us. Secret government, secret projects, secret knowledge. And today we are beginning to see that the world is in serious trouble. I believe that the things which are going on in the world today, not the least of which the Middle Eastern war and Middle Eastern intrigue, I think the machinations that are going on behind the scenes of world government are being orchestrated. I have no doubt in my mind, after 43 years of looking at this subject, that so much of our world, the wars, the violence, the bloodshed, the animosity among races, is purposely designed by someone. Catholic Church is involved in Israel. They're involved in the Holocaust. When the Nazis saw that the war was going bad for them, and that they were going to lose the war, it was like 1944. All the top Nazis were given Vatican passports and given safe passage and money through the Vatican banks. Money was given to all the top Nazis to get them out. So the Vatican sent a bunch of Nazis to Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil, Argentina. We know they're down there. Well, that's all Catholic down there. That's right. That's why they're down there. The scientists and the theoreticians, they sat directly through the CIA, which is the Knights of Malta organization for the Catholic Church. Catholic Church is CIA. CIA is Catholic Church. The CIA broke into the Watergate Hotel. Watergate Hotel is owned by the Vatican. The owners of the Watergate Hotel today in Washington, D.C. is owned by the Catholic Church. It's a Vatican owner. The Vatican owns the Watergate. And the CIA was in there doing their dirty work in the Watergate Hotel. And then they got Nixon kicked out of office because Nixon realized that the Vatican is involved in all this crap and the English involved in all this crap. So the Vatican set up their own people. Send the CIA into, well, we can't do it in just any place. That's all right. Send it to our hotel. We'll take care of it. Reinhard Gehlen was not only a Knights of Malta, but he was also one of the founders of today, the CIA. Reinhard Gehlen was the man in charge of security for Adolf Hitler. He was chief of security for the Nazi Empire, Reinhard Gehlen. And when he saw that things were going bad and they were going to lose, Reinhard Gehlen was chief of security. He's not an idiot. This guy knows the war is up. We've lost. So he goes to the Vatican, and the Vatican gets him a ticket over here to work for America, and he comes over here and sets up something called the CIA. All of these religious leaders in America on television, they have contracts under the table with international oil cartels, drug cartels, banking cartels, and they are reaping in millions of dollars in private profits in European banks that American Christians have no idea in the world about. But all you have to do is just start doing some homework and checking on all of the so-called Christian leaders who are all for the state of Israel. Find out how much money did you make last year. Then you begin finding out the oil companies put up millions of dollars for Christian churches to send out missions. So many of the Christian missionaries that go out around the world, and these you see them nightly on television, missionary movements that go out to the poor, starving people of Africa and the poor people of China. These missions are being financed, but a lot of the big churches are not telling their people that it's being financed by oil companies. Oil companies and drug cartels are financing many of the church's missions throughout the world. We now know, we have documented proof beyond a shadow of a doubt that World War I, World War II were planned long in advance. The things which are going on in the Middle East have been planned for, I believe, at least 40 years. Minimum. I can show you at least 40 years ago that this government, American government, was already keenly anticipating a major war in the Middle East. A corporation called United States, after the change of the century, coming into 1900s, decided they wanted to expand. They got so much money and they're doing so well. They thought maybe we could expand the business, move the corporation out a little bit. Let's expand business. Let's go to Germany or Europe and open up a big corporation there and take in their corporation, their government. We'll take them over. And the Germans said, "Hey, Jack, it's like a mafia. What are you coming over here? You're gonna buy me? I'll buy you. You don't buy me." Like the Godfather movie. What, you're gonna come into Las Vegas and you're gonna give me and you're going to buy my hotels? Who says I'm going to sell my hotels? And the American corporation, British American corporation said, unfortunately, maybe you didn't understand. Let me restate it so you understand. I didn't ask you. I'm telling you. We're moving in here. It's called a corporate takeover. And so there was a hostile corporate takeover, where the American corporation decided they want to go take over in Europe, and they didn't want to be taken over. Well, it's too bad. We take over anyway. So they called it a hostile corporate takeover. We call it World War I. So the corporation called United States was able to overthrow the existing corporate order in Europe, but it cost a lot of money. They had to build a lot of tanks and jeeps and pay a lot of people, and the corporation, well, they were successful. They did what they wanted to do, but they went broke doing it. And so when they went broke doing it, and then the bankers pulled their money out in 29, we had something called a stock market crash, because the corporation spent so much money, they went broke. So the international banker says, well, if you're broke, what are you coming to me for? I'm not going to loan you money if you're broke. And so what do you have as collateral? You got any collateral that you can put up for me to loan you the money? And the corporation called United States, the British corporation called United States, said, yes, we have the stock. We'll give you stock in the company. You are the stock in the corporation. So they give your body to the banks in Switzerland. So your body now becomes stock for the corporation called United States, because you are a money maker. Bankers came in and said, if we're going to loan you money, you guys have lost money. You guys are gone. You guys have gone bankrupt. We're going to take care of the accounting. We're going to see where the money goes. We'll give you the money, but we're going to make it sure it goes where we want it to go. So they set up the Federal Reserve System, and then the collection agency to make damn sure that you people pay us. We're going to set up to keep a record of how much you owe us in business each week. We're going to call it the Federal Reserve. And to make sure that your stock, all the chumps out there in America working, make sure the stock pays us. We're going to make sure they pay us. You don't just tell me you're going to pay. I'm going to make sure they're going to pay. So we will set up a collection agency. Our own personal collection agency is called the Internal Revenue. You mess with us, Jack, and we're going to hurt your face. You owe us money. So the banks loan money to the privately owned corporation called United States, and the United States Corporation gave your body, your birth certificate, to the banks as collateral for the loan. And that's why today Americans are nothing but slaves. Now this is something I want you to understand, and you need to listen carefully, because this is profoundly important. Most people have never heard this and don't even understand what I'm trying to say. So try and follow what I'm going to tell you. There are two kinds of law on the earth, as I've said. One is called civil law, which is the law of the land, and one is called maritime admiralty, which is called the law of water. The maritime admiralty is banking law. And the law on the maritime admiralty says that you, because you came out of your mother's water, are a maritime admiralty product. This is why the ship is sitting in its berth and it's tied to the dock, and the captain has to give a certificate of manifest to the port authorities, because money is changing hands. This is why when you were born, you have to have a birth certificate. It's got to be signed by the dock, because that's where the ship is tied to, is the dock. So the dock signs your birth certificate. Why? Because you came down out of your mother's water. You came down her birth canal. You are a maritime admiralty product. And therefore your birth certificate is signed by your mother. And where your mother signed on the birth certificate, get it, you will see it does not say parent or mother, it says informant. Your mother was informing the bank that she has just produced another product to be bought and sold. England, The British Crown, through international banking, owns your physical body. And that's the law. But you can think it's funny all you want. So the bottom line is that you are a maritime admiralty product. And therefore the banks own your body. And on the back of the Social Security card will be numbers in red. On the front will be in blue or black, but on the back will be in red. The numbers on the back of a Social Security card in red designate your body. It is the serial number of your stock. And this is why if you're wealthy, you are preferred stock. If you're poor, you are common stock. But you are a stock on the stock market. Your body is bought and sold through the use of your birth certificate. And if you could get your original birth certificate back, you would find that on the back of the birth certificate are all the banks around the world. All over the world, banks have used your birth certificate because you are a stock in a maritime admiralty banking scheme where you make money for banks. So consequently, the corporation and government and people who want to control you, they create a second you, and that second you that they control, that they created, is all capital letters. Check it out. Anytime you get a bill, get a lawsuit, you get a fine, a ticket, somebody sends you a bill from the Department of Water and Power, check it out on your driver's license, on your Social Security card, on your insurance cards, anything, period. Anything having to do with business, your name will always be all capital letters, because only all capital letters can be dealt with by banks and government. Anytime you have a name upper and lowercase, that applies to you. I got no control over you. You sign a contract in which your name is in all capital letters, now I can take you to court. Now I can take you. As a matter of fact, the judge sits on the bench. He rules from the bench. The word bench in Latin is a bank. Look it up in a Latin dictionary. So the judge rules from the bench. Right, because he's ruling for the bank. Why? Because somebody's going to pay. It's just a game here. The Queen of England wants a cut of the American blood. She wants a piece. So it's going, somebody's going to pay, and the money's going to go where? Into a bank. That's right. The judge rules for the bank. So consequently, if you are working in California making money, you are then referred to as a franchisee. You're a franchisee of a foreign corporation. 1849 Constitution of California. 1849 Constitution of California says, no California citizen will ever pay taxes in California state. Ever. There will never be a state tax in California. Ever. That's the Constitution of California. But if you say that you're a United States citizen, you're saying you work for a privately owned corporation called United States. Therefore, you are a franchisee of a foreign corporation. Therefore, you must pay the California Franchise Tax Board. Not California State Tax Board. There is no state tax in California. You pay the California Franchise Tax Board because you're a franchisee of a foreign corporation on the maritime banking law, international law. You work for the Queen of England. Your butt is owned by the Queen of England in a corporation called United States, while a man called Bush is the president of the British corporation. You want to talk treason? You need to wake up and find out how this stuff really works. Because once you understand that you don't need to submit yourself as an American to a British commercial venture called courts. You're an American. You don't need to go to court. There's nobody. You only go to court because you agreed to go to court. When they send you a subpoena to court or a summons to court, and they've sent you something, you look at it and say, hey, Jack, that's not me. That's in all capital letters. All capital letters is a corporation. It's a corpse. It's dead. Do I look like I'm dead to you? No, I'm an American, Jack. I ain't dead. And besides, I'll go to an American system for justice. I don't need no British Grand Lodge Masonic system called courts. This British Grand Lodge Freemasonic system called Inns of Court comes out of England. And it has manipulated, exploited, and lied to the people. And everybody in America thinks they got to go to court. Oh, the judge is, they've sent me something that I've got to go to court. I don't go to anybody's court. I'm an American. I don't need to go to court. That's the difference between being a free man and a slave. Very few Americans have ever really thought about the fact who was the enemy of this country when it was being founded. Who was it George Washington was at war with? Bloodshed on the field of battle. Who were the Americans fighting and dying on the field of battle, fighting to found this country? No, as a matter of fact, the Russians were our supporters. The French? No. The French was supporting us. They loved us. They thought it was a great idea of somebody actually standing up for their rights and becoming a free people. And the French say, hey, that's sensational. Matter of fact, we'll come over and help you if you want. Anybody that fights against that bunch of cutthroat murderers, British royalty, will help. Even the Tsar of Russia said, hey, you guys going to revolt against England? Hey, about time, somebody will come help you. And so Russia helped the Americans. French helped Americans. All over the world, people say, hey, it's about time you guys got out. I love it. See somebody stand up for their own rights and take their country and become a free people. Your enemy when you founded this country was England, British royalty. And the Americans stood up in the field of battle and whipped the King of England's ass and sent the British back with their asses bleeding all over the world. Wealthy people, potentates, kings, rulers, princes, all the powerful people in the world, all over the earth, were watching. And they say, hey, we heard the King of England got his ass kicked last week by a little group of people called Americans. They chased your ass out of town, didn't they? And consequently, the King of England became the laughing stock of the world. Everybody, hey, boy, he's got all the big army and the red coats and their guns and everything. That little bunch of Americans, they kicked your ass and sent you back crawling on your knees. What you going to do about that? You going to let him get away with that? And so the king realized he could not. They beat you on the field of battle, and they're mad. You come back, they're going to kill you again. And so the King of England and the British royalty decided, no, we're not going to send any more people over there because you're not going to win. Those people are crazy, they got guns, and they're mad. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Later on, we'll dream up some things called United States government. And we'll incorporate it. And we will bring in what we call, let's say, call them attorneys. Attorneys and lawyers. And then we'll do business and sign contracts. And we'll be their friends. And one day, we're going to own them. The British invasion. They call the rock groups that came out of England the British invasion. That's not the only thing Britain invaded with. They invaded with treason, bloodshed, lies, deception. They've given us courts. They've made you into a corporation. They've made you so that you are politically dead. You walk into a courtroom and the judge wears a black robe. Black is the color of death. I mean, you've got Dracula wears a black robe. Frankenstein wears black. You know, always the jailer and the guy who's going to cut your head off wear the black robes. What is this black robe stuff of judges? Where does this black robe stuff come from? Somebody needs to do their homework and find out America has been raped. And the people who are running this country are nothing more than turncoats. They're traitors who have sold our great republic out. They've sold us out to our masters in England. I, for one, would like to see all British in this country, all British money, all British financing, all British corporations chased out of this country. Give them 72 hours to be out of this country, and you tell the Queen we're not sending over American boys into the Middle East to save your goddamn oil. Tell the Queen no longer will Americans crawl on their knees to that woman, to the Queen of England. What a travesty. What a travesty in this country to watch America, the great republic, being raped by the British royalty. Somebody needs to do their homework. It's all business. I don't want you to take this personal. It's just business. This is the way banks work. This is the way courts work. This is the way government works. They manipulate and use words and terms and frighten you. I, for one, am not only not frightened, I'm tired of the lies and deception. I'd like to see America free again. That's my feeling. And thank you and good night.
So, yo, man. Peace and blessings to the trial. Y'all like, share, and subscribe, man. Remember, man, they said it, and I'm speaking on it. I am Mr. Telescope, man. You're not watching the Telescope channel. So, yeah. Get into a couple of things that went on in that video, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you watched it all the way through. A lot of informative things in that video. And like I said before, man, I feel like some of the stuff that's in the video is kind of like, you know, and this video was made, I believe, like in the 60s or 70s. But it's like a lot of the things that he said was contributing and was contributing facts to what's happening today and why things are the way they are today. You know what I'm saying? Even like the immigration and the deportation thing, you know, these people have to be documented so that the government can actually recruit benefits from these people. They're undocumented, they don't have a birth certificate, they don't have a social security card, so they can't be slaves, they can't be monetary gain for the U.S., for this corporation that we live in. So it kind of was given like sovereignty a little bit too, but I looked him up and he never classified himself as sovereign. Some of the things that he was saying was just facts, you know what I'm saying? It was just facts and from research. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I like making stuff like this, you know what I'm saying? Just little, you know, gems for the mind and stuff like that. And yeah, man, like I said, bro, like a lot of the stuff that he was saying was just like things that make you go, you know what, he got a point, you know. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you got any questions or you got any points to the video, make sure you drop it in the comment section. Make sure you hit that like button so the video can get out there more. Plus it also boosts your page in the algorithm if you're trying to have a channel or something like that. And I appreciate you guys coming to watch, man. Nevertheless, man, Telescope, come.